Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and WWE main event spoilers. Birthdays for January 3rd, Jim Ross. He was born 1952. On the 4th, Jim Powers. He was born 1958. Also on the 4th, who's better than Kenyon? He was born 1970. Willie Mack was born on January 5th. He turned 32. January 6th birthdays, Jacqueline. She was born 1964. Ludwig Borga was born 1963. Conan turned 55 on January 6th. January 7th birthday is Chavo Guerrero Sr. He was born 1949. Alicia Edwards, 1987. Darby Allin was born 1993. Jack Gallagher, a.k.a. Oliver Jack Claffey, turned 29 years old on January 7th. The late Gary Albright died of a heart attack at the age of 36 on January 7th, 2000. The late Moondog Spot, Larry Booker, was born on January 6th, 1952. Advertised dark match main events for Raw was advertised as Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship, and John Cena, Finn Balor, and Elias versus Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley. But did not get any results from that. This week's main event episode was a recap for the 3rd week in a row. Also noted, EC3 and Lacey Evans wrestled before Raw this past Monday night, and the main event logo was on the apron and on the screen. However, they were apparently dark matches. WWE is apparently moving 205 Live back to Tuesday nights, as the show is listed for next week at 10 p.m. on Tuesday. That's Eastern time. The show was originally moved to Wednesdays this last fall to accommodate the Mixed Match Challenge episodes on Facebook Watch, which ended its run a few weeks ago, last year in December. Scottish women's wrestler Piper Niven, or Niven, don't know how to pronounce it, is reportedly signing with WWE soon, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. As you can see, her in action in this link there. Niven, also known as fans as Viper, participated in the 2017 Mae Young Classic and defeated Santana Garrett in the first round. She then defeated Serena Deeb in the second round, but lost to Toni Storm in the third round. Niven is also currently signed to the World of Sport Wrestling, but it's believed that she is headed to WWE once her deal expires. Meltzer noted that All Elite Wrestling wanted to sign Niven, but she decided to not sign with them. It looks like Titus O'Neil could be doing some movie work with his good buddy Batista. Titus tweeted the following and noted that he was headed to Hollywood to work with his former WWE buddy and former WWE champion. At Titus O'Neil WWE, off to Los Angeles to make some Hollywood moves. See you soon at Dave Batista. WWE Hall of Famer DDP is giving away $1 million in a new Positively Unstoppable challenge from DDP Yoga, as DDP talks about the 16-week challenge in this new video can be found here. Also on his website, positivelyunstoppable.com. The talent wars are heated up now that AEW has officially launched. Remember, they just had their pay-per-view, and they're about to have another one coming up, which will lead into your All Elite Wrestling show. All the top promotions are aware of free agents, and they're making plays to sign them. Not only are WWE and AEW getting aggressive to signing talent, but you also have New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor trying to sign talents to contracts, which New Japan Pro Wrestling just lost Kenny Omega, as he made his announcement. He's leaving New Japan. Meltzer noted that there are a lot of people in WWE who are interested in exploring their options with AEW. If not, go ahead and sign with them. The talents obviously have to wait until their WWE contract expires, and there is also a wait-and-see feeling to see if AEW works out and what it becomes. Christopher Ford today, Christopher Ford is a physical therapist in New Jersey. But during his 1990, he was a wrestler known as Devin Storm and Crowbar in WCW. Ford still competes on the indie circuit near his home and has helped put on Rescue Mania in northern New Jersey. Rescue Mania started as a benefit for the local fire department and evolved into a promotion. Ford talked more about how he started when he joined the Weekly podcast this last week. Quoted by saying, "It was supposed to be a one-and-done deal." Ford said of Rescue Mania, which held its first event in 2017. "I do indie wrestling for fun. I'm at a point in my career where I don't care what people think. Call me Mark, call me whatever," unquote. Ford then talked about how he owns and operates a physical therapy clinic, and a friend from the local fire department came in. He then told Ford that he sees on his Facebook timeline that he's doing these indie wrestling shows and wondered if he could do a fundraiser show for the fire department. Back to being quoted, "You don't want a wrestling show, you want a community event," Ford told the firefighter. "And if you're willing to mobilize the fire department, then we can really do this," unquote. Rescue Mania is scripted like the early WCW Monday Nitro events and was written by Ford and Kevin Sullivan. Ford discussed his history with Sullivan, which dates back to nearly 25 years. "I've known Kevin for years, and he was the first guy to bring me into WCW prior to Crowbar. He brought me into WCW as Devin Storm when I was still a college student, and we kept in contact ever since," unquote, said Ford. Ford and Sullivan were even in the running to launch a wrestling promotion with Spike TV. But that fell apart, and the network partnered with the Jarretts to form TNA. When Jeff Jarrett and TNA were pitching to Spike after WWE left Spike, "We had a meeting, me, Sullivan, and JJ Dillon," stated Ford, "and it just didn't go through. They loved our concept. It was going to be called Spike Championship Wrestling. We had a concept, but we had no video. We had no tape. We hadn't done anything." Ford then said his job for the promotion would have been to acquire talent, but it was too risky for Spike, and they went with a more established group led by the Jarretts. Ford then went into more detail about Rescue Mania Wrestling and how he wants to throw it back to the golden age of pro wrestling. "It's a different product, and here's where I'm going," Ford says. "Of today's wrestling, a lot of product today is getting more realistic. Like with Ring of Honor, WWE is even more adult. You have guys that are characters, but the outlandish costumes aren't there. It's more serious, more adult-oriented. We tried to model Rescue Mania after the early Nitros, maybe even late 1980 stuff. You had guys that looked like characters and were larger than life. Everyone has somewhat of a character, and you have the bigger guys on top. It's worked so far. Our audience is mainly kids and families, and we've had a positive response. I've had many parents come up to me and say, hey, my kid loved it. They were so engaged, they were yelling at the ref. It really reminded me of wrestling that we grew up watching. And that's what our goal is." Crowbar and Rescue Mania just concluded their most recent set of tapings for their upcoming YouTube series. For more info about Rescue Mania, visit their Facebook page. Crowbar's full interview from Wrestling Inc.'s weekly podcast can be found at this link. He also talked in depth about his time in WCW, how he pitched the Crowbar character, working with David Flair, being bullied in the ECW locker room, and more. Also, formerly on their broadcast, they had Gail Kim and Brian Cage. that was also embedded in the player video. Matt Hardy has teased an upcoming ring return with several recent tweets. He also revealed a more clean-shaven look and new framed trademark certificate for his broken Matt Hardy name. Hardy wrote before this week's Raw episode, excited to check out the first hashtag Raw of 2019 tonight, especially with all the interesting things that are advertised. Most importantly, I need to see where all the pieces are positioned and moving to on the at WWE chessboard. Almost time to get back into the great game again. Hardy also resumed his Woken Word of the Week videos and used the word appetite to say he has a strong desire to return to WWE in 2019 for the greatest run of his career. Fans are speculating on Hardy, also including a reference to All Elite Wrestling in the video, which I did not get the video link for that. I do apologize. As Hardy has been out of action since the summer of 2018, while he heals up and deals with injuries. He has worked some in behind-the-scenes role for WWE since going out of action. Raw Tag Team Champion Bobby Roode recently spoke with Sky Sports and revealed that his WrestleMania 35 dream match for he and Chad Gable in a tag team match against Revival Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. As for a singles match against Kenny Omega at Mania. mcmahon was recently featured as a question on the long-running game show Jeopardy. As you can hear me say, the WWE chairman was featured as a $800 question in the promotion category. Host Alex Trebek asked, "This billionaire's wrestling promoter has owned what's now the WWE since 1982. WWE has also featured on Jeopardy back in early December with a pro wrestling category that included questions on WWE Hall of Famers Andre the Giant and Mick Foley, among others. Well, other news, Bill Goldberg has been set to make a return to NBC's The Goldbergs next week. He has had a recurring role on the show playing Nick Miller. The episode is set to air on Wednesday, January 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central. Former WWE superstar Eva Marie will be appearing on the upcoming season of Big Brother Celebrity Edition on CBS. And on social media shows Marie being interviewed for the series at a gym in Los Angeles. Eva has done some acting and modeling since leaving WWE on good terms in August of 2017, and also has ran her NEM fashion brand. She has stayed away from the indie scene. This will be Eva's return to reality TV, as she previously appeared on WWE's Total Divas. Big Brother Celebrity Edition can be found at this link. Advertised for January 21st on Monday on CBS. Stay tuned for updates on Eva working the show. It's a Twitter link. Speaking of the Hall of Famer, Bill Goldberg, he's on that episode of the Goldbergs, and the episode is called Pina Colada Song. He'll be reprising his role as Coach Nick Miller, who will be replacing his on-screen brother, Coach Rick Miller. Brian Callen, who announced to his class that he is leaving the school during the state-mandated mile. Goldberg last appeared on the Goldbergs in the spring of 2018, moving into the Goldbergs' house with his on-screen brother. For more info about the Goldbergs, visit abc.com, the Goldbergs, / the Goldbergs. And go to this link for you. WWE officially announced the WWE Worlds Collide tournament during Royal Rumble weekend as part of Access. Tournament will feature talent from NXT, NXT UK, and 205 Live brands. One of the stars listed for 205 Live was Humberto Carrillo. The former Ultimo Ninja was part of the class of WWE Performance Center recruits last October and worked a match for NXT TV later that month, where he teamed with Raul Mendoza in a losing effort to oneal and Danny Burch. WWE has since removed Carrillo from their article about the event and simply says that a superstar to be named will be filling his spot. Cedric Alexander, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and TJP are other names for the 205 Live brand, while Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Dominic Dijakovic, Keith Lee, and Otis Dojovic will be representing NXT. Mark Andrews, Tyler Bate, Travis Banks, Jordan Devlin, and Zach Gibson representing NXT for the tournament. The tournament will start as a 15-man battle royal on Saturday, which will be determined the first round matches for the tournament beginning later that day. Winner of the battle royal will receive a bye in the first round. The tournament will conclude on Sunday at Final Access session. Winner of the tournament will be awarded a featured title spot or shot. WWE gives an update on marriage to Sarah Logan and Ray Monroe at this link, as they recently got married. Former two-time TNA World Tag Team Champion Robert Strauss, formerly known as Robbie E., is a contestant on the Rock Sport Competition Series, the Titan Games, on NBC. The Rock posted the profile of Strauss on his Instagram at this link. As I told you a couple of weeks back, I will get more info when The Rock posted it himself. In a close vote, Becky Lynch topped Ronda Rousey for 2018's Woman of the Year, as voted by the readers of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Lynch received 40% of the vote, 4% better than Rousey. Asuka and Tessa Blanchard were distant runners-up. Rousey being selected number 1 on PWI's Woman's 100 led to Lynch posting some disparaging tweets about PWI and publisher Stu Sachs in particular, even though Lynch appeared happy while posing for PWI cover of the awards issue with the Woman of the Year plaque. She complained about her number 11 placement in the 100 throughout much of the photo shoot. Rousey achieved a near record 87% of the vote and being named Rookie of the Year. Widest margin of victory in the 46-year history of PWI awards was enjoyed by the giant Big Show, who garnered 88% of the vote for Rookie of the Year in 1996. AJ Styles was named Wrestler of the Year for the third straight year. Styles now has earned a total of 7 achievement awards. Styles earned 46% of the vote in Wrestler of the Year category, followed by Kenny Omega 17%. Cody 8%, Seth Rollins 7%. He also voted most popular for the second straight year. The only other wrestler to receive Wrestler of the Year honors for 3 straight years is Ric Flair from 1984 to 1986. Styles and Becky also topped Wrestling Inc.'s Best of 2018 for Male Wrestler of the Year and Female Wrestler of the Year, respectively. And your spoilers, the results from main event tapings from Orlando saw 2 NXT superstars make their main roster debuts. EC3 and Lacey Evans. Evans lost to Natalya while EC3 defeated Kurt Hawkins. The matches will air later on the week. Well, aired on Wednesday. I'm late on this week. And I think there are some photos. They're at this link here. Make sure you check out EC3 versus Kurt Hawkins from this week's episode of Main Event. Hashtag We Are NXT. Hashtag Raw. When you go to the picture link. Raw opened up with a graphic memory of the WWE Hall of Famer Mean Gene Okerlund, who passed away at the age of 76 this past Wednesday. And I do give you my condolences to friends and family of Mean Gene. Well, let me tell you a little something about Mean Gene. Let me go into the Hulk Hogan character here. Well, let me tell you something about this Mean Gene. The show opened up with a backstage brawl between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. Several superstars and officials are trying to break it up. They brawl out into the Amway Center on the stage as fans pop in Orlando, Florida. They fight to the side of the stage and Lashley sends a few people down. Rollins comes flying at him as the brawl continues. They finally are separated and taken to the back. Finally, live from Orlando, and Michael Coleslaw welcomes us to the show. Chimed in McCormick Graves and Renee Young. We go right to the ring. John Cena makes his way out to a pop. He opens the show. Cena talks about it being that time of year for WrestleMania 35, and proof of that is Rollins fighting for his life. Cena says it's WrestleMania time, and you either step up or you get left out. Cena says he knows how that feels, and he'd be danged if he's left out again this year. Cena declares himself for the Men's Royal Rumble match. Music interrupts, and out comes Drew McIntyre. Drew says he's been waiting for this moment for years. He goes on and knocks Cena, also poking at his stupid haircut. Drew agrees with the others that Cena is the greatest of all time. Cena asks, what is Drew's point? Like he's not playing a fool. What is he doing here? Drew says he doesn't know if Cena has been following the product and keeping up, but he has a reputation of taking out the greats. Just ask the Shield. Drew says he has dismantled them all by himself. Also ask Dolph Ziggler and WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, who Drew says he humiliated and made cry with his own move. Drew says that he's come for Cena now. Cena says he's heard the same thing from every superstar every week. So much that he had to take a break and leave so they wouldn't think of a new promo. Cena asks Drew what makes him different. Fan chant for Cena now. Drew says he will take the torch and the others. We're all talk, but when he's going to show Cena. Drew marches down the ring as Cena ready for a fight. Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley come from the back. Leo says, we've got a situation that Seth Rollins has gone crazy. Fans boo as Rush complains about last week and Rollins attacking Lashley. Backstage this week, and Rush says it's not Lashley's fault that Rollins can't get his rematch from WWE Continental Champion Dean Ambrose. Rush then threatens legal action. Rush says Raw will be canceled until Rollins attacks Lashley from behind, and the brawl continues. Ambrose comes out and attacks Rollins. Cena exits the ring and goes up for Ambrose. Drew attacks Cena, and they brawl. Ambrose and Drew double team Cena now. Lashley has Rollins grounded. Balor's music hits out. Now he comes for a pop. Balor takes out Drew, sends him over the top rope. Balor leaps out onto the floor as we go to commercial. Cena, Balor, and Seth Rollins versus Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre with your first match. Back for the break. The match is underway. Lashley ends up decking Balor and turning it around. Coleslaw confirms that all 6 participants are in the Rumble match. Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose comes in to work Balor over, but Balor takes him down. Balor more offense and a basement drop kick for a 2 count. McIntyre comes in and turns it around, suplexing Balor for a 2 count. Drew talks trash and works Balor around. Also taunting Cena. Lashley is back in to keep up the attack on Balor. Lashley with more offense until Balor tries for a comeback. Cena ends up getting the hot tag and going at it with Ambrose. Cena with some of his usual moves and the 5-knuckle shuffle. Ambrose avoids the attitude adjustment, making a tag to Drew. Cena still drops the attitude adjustment on Ambrose. Ambrose comes in and levels Cena with a Glasgow kiss. Headbutt, but he can't get the pin. We go to commercial. Back for the break. Ambrose has Cena in the corner. Cena fights out and drops Lashley on the apron. Cena crawls for a tag, but Drew comes in and stops him. Cena fights back, but Drew catches him with a spine buster for a 2 count. Lashley comes in and takes control on Cena, hitting a neck breaker as Leo Rush watches from ringside. Lashley stands over. Cena imposes now as the fans boo. Lashley drops Rollins off the apron and goes back to Cena, but Cena drops him with an attitude adjustment for a pop from the crowd. Cena goes for a tag, but Ambrose tags in and stops him. Ambrose with a sleeper hold, taking Cena to the mat. Cena tries to power out, but Ambrose tightens. Cena finally fights free, but a knee puts him back down. Cena ends up on the floor now. Ambrose stalks him. Ambrose launches Cena shoulder first and the steel ring steps. As the referee counts, we go back to commercial. Back to the ring, Ambrose has Cena grounded in the middle of the ring again. Cena powers up with Ambrose on his back, slowly making it to the corner for the tag. Ambrose gets out and drops Rollins from the apron. Cena and Ambrose go down in the middle of the ring. Balor finally gets a tag, unloads on everyone. Balor drops Lashley out of the ring and blocks a Dirty Deeds attempt from behind. Balor drop kicks Ambrose in the corner and goes for the coup de grace. McIntyre immediately hits Balor with a Claymore kick before he can get the pin. Rollins returns to the apron and waits for a tag now. Ambrose tags in McIntyre as Rollins tags in with a springboard. Rollins unloads on Drew as Ambrose drops Ambrose from the apron. Rollins ends up taking out the other two on the floor and with a suicide dive. Rollins returns to the ring and hits the Falcon Arrow on McIntyre for a close 2 count. Rollins cranks up and nails a kick to Drew. Booker Drew catches him and goes for a slingshot, but Cena runs in and hits Attitude Adjustment on Drew. Lashley runs in with a spear to Cena. Rollins super kicks Lashley. Rollins brings Drew back into the ring and super kicks him in the jaw. Rollins goes up top for his frog splash, but Drew rolls out of the way. Ambrose tags in and grabs Rollins for Dirty Deeds, but it's blocked. Rollins comes right back with a stomp on Ambrose for the pin and wins the match. Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Finn Balor. The Faces win. After the match, winners stand tall in the middle of the ring as we go to replays. They look up at the big screen as we see Triple H backstage talking to Sasha Banks and Bayley. Rollins marches up the ramp to the back. As his music plays, we see Balor and Cena greeting the fans at ringside. Cameras go backstage as Seth Rollins gets to Triple H's face. He wants Dean Ambrose and he wants the Intercontinental title tonight. Triple H says Rollins has Ambrose if he wants him tonight. Fouls count anywhere. Rollins gets hyped up as Triple H walks off after saying, "Welcome back to Rollins." We see WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan walking backstage. He's wearing a Mean Gene Omania's t-shirt. We go to commercial. Back from the break, we get a quick video of wrestling stars reacting to the passing of Hall of Famer Mean Gene on Twitter. The video shows their tweets along with a photo of Gene working with them, including Vince McMahon, The Rock, Triple H, Hall of Famer Stone Cold, and others. We go back to the ring. Mike Rome asks everyone to stand for a 10-bell salute to pay tribute to Mean Gene Okerlund. Familiar real American music starts up, as you know, that's Hulk Hogan's music, as he makes his way out to a pop. Rome does the formal introductions. Hogan is wearing the Gene t-shirt with his red and yellow feather bow. The Hulkster hits the ring and does the signature poses to the crowd. Music starts and fans start chanting for Hogan. Hogan says he came out here wide open in character tonight because that's exactly how Mean Gene would have wanted it. Hogan says Gene loved entertaining and he loved doing it for everyone in the WWE Universe. Hogan says Gene loved entertaining more than anything else. Hogan leads us to a video package of some of Gene's greatest moments and various legends commenting on him. Hogan says Gene was truly one of a kind. Hogan says we all love Gene. Hogan says Gene isn't out here in the ring, but he is here in our hearts. Fans break out a thank you chant for Gene now. Hogan asks the crowd if they want him to do it one more time. Hogan does a signature promo and says he knows Gene is in heaven with the other Hall of Famers, booking a tag match with Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior versus Mr. Perfect and Roddy Piper, with Andre the Giant as special referee, or breaking a fight between Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Hogan said he heard the weights banging at the pearly gates, but Gene doesn't have to get so swole because he has a choice between Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah. Just get a few oohs from the crowd with the last line. Hogan goes on with a promo and asks the others up there what they're going to do when the mean Gene Mania runs wild on them. What you gonna do, brothers, when Mean Gene Mania runs wild on you? Hogan's music hits, and that's it for his. As the camera focuses on the Gene tribute graphic that's on the big screen. We go to commercial. Back from the break, they announce tonight's Falls Count Anywhere main event and the Women's Rumble match. Lumberjack match for the Raw Tag Team titles was up next. Revival versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. We go to the ring, and the Lumberjacks are surrounding it. Heath Slater, Rhino, the Ascension, Lucha House Party, and the B Team. All four different sides. Out first comes Raw Tag Team Champions Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. We get a backstage promo from Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder talking about the importance of this match. Music hits, and out comes the Revival. Dash starts off with Roode as they go at it and trading holds. Dash blocks an early glorious DDT attempt. More back and forth. Dawson comes in, but Roode takes him down. Gable and Dawson go at it now. Revival have to deal with the Lumberjacks twice. Gable with a moonsault to the floor. They bring it back in, and Roode covers Dash for a 2 count. Gable tags back in, and in comes off the top. While Roode holds Dash, Gable knocks Dawson down on the apron. The Revival makes the tag as Gable gets dropped out on the floor. Gable throws it back in as the Revival keeps control. Dawson gets a 2 count. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Gable makes a hot tag to Roode. Roode unloads on both opponents. Roode knocks Dash off the apron and he lands hard on the floor. Roode closes on Dawson over the top to the floor. Dawson is thrown back in, and Roode hits him with a spinebuster for a close 2 count. Gable tags in and goes to the top for a double team, but Dawson avoids it. They go on and hit a double team German suplex anyway. Dash makes a save right before the 3 count. Roode gets into the ring post. Gable sends Dash out of the ring. Gable goes to the top and hits a big crossbody on Dawson. Dawson rolls a pin through for a 2 count of his own. Gable hits the German on Dawson and holds it, but Dash comes off the top rope with a flying headbutt to break it up. Gable avoids a double team. Gable and Dawson trade pin attempts and submissions on the mat. Dash runs in, but gets sent to the apron. Roode jakes him off. Gable and Dawson trade pin attempts. Again, Gable gets a pin to retain, but the referee didn't see Dawson's foot on the bottom rope. Controversial finish as Gable and Bobby Roode won. After the match, Revival starts to argue with the referee about the bad call. Apparently, there's no replays. Check the replay. Finishes in wrestling. Roode and Gable celebrate on the ramp as Roode's music hits. Revival are venting from the ring still, as Ascension is listening and also trying to go to the video. So come Beast and the Monster will meet face to face in the ring. Also Falls Count Anywhere for the Intercontinental title. And Elias versus Baron Corbin. Back to commercial. And by the way, this was your battle for your national championship in college, as my prediction won the national championship. Clemson beating Alabama. As I have told you, when Brock Lesnar is on, I boycott Raw. Back for the break, the announcers welcomed us to the first Raw of 2019. They lead us to the coming soon promo for Lars Sullivan, Lacey Evans, Tucker Knight, and Otis Dojovic of Heavy Machinery, Nikki Cross, and EC3's debuts. We go to the ring, and Elias is out with a guitar and a spotlight. Elias plays some, and fans pop. Elias says it's amazing looking back at his 2018 and his past rise to the top. Elias talks about performing in sold-out arenas across the globe and how that all brought him right here. He goes on and says WWE stands for Walk with Elias. He says that 2018 was nothing compared to what he has planned for 2019. Elias announces his Royal Rumble spot and says he will win. And then he also says, as much as he's enjoyed his own success, it's also been great to watch the failures of Baron Corbin. Elias talks about how Corbin was writing his, but now he's just a joke. Elias begins performing a new song he wrote about Corbin, but Corbin quickly interrupts from the stage with a mic. Fans are booing. Corbin says he's here to help the fans because we can't stand another mind-numbing performance. Corbin goes on about how he should have everyone's respect and admiration, but he doesn't, and It's because everyone just doesn't understand. Constipated One says they would probably like to see him disappear and go away. It's a pan's pop for that. Corbin announces himself for the Rumble and says, unlike Elias, he will actually win it, and then he will main event WrestleMania. Constipated One goes on, but Elias tells everyone to do him a favor, shut his mouth, silence his cell phone, and the match is up next. Constipated Corbin, Triple C versus Elias. Corbin enters the ring as the bell hits. They lock up and go at it. Elias fights out of the corner with chops. Corbin with a mule kick out of the corner. Jeaporady style. Elias clotheslines Corbin out of the ring, and then he drop kicks him through the ropes. Sending Corbin into the barrier, Elias goes to the top and comes flying down at Corbin. Elias stands tall and yells out, "Let's fans pop." Back commercial. Back from the break. Corbin knocks Elias from the ring into the barrier. He places the crowd for some boos. The referee counts as Corbin goes to the floor and rams Elias back into the barrier. Constipated Corbin brings it back in the ring and tosses Elias in the corner. Elias fights out. Corbin goes out and runs back in the clothesline for a 2 count. Corbin argues with the referee as the Constipated One works Elias over as a "You Got Fired" chant breaks out from the crowd. Corbin comes off the top rope, but Elias knocks him out of the air with a knee to the face. Elias with more offense now, keeping Corbin grounded. Elias with a clothesline out of the corner. Elias with more strikes into the corner as the referee warned him. Fans pop as Elias gets fired up. More back and forth now. Elias with a swinging neck breaker for a 2 count. Elias drops Corbin and it goes up top. Elias goes for a flying knee, but Corbin rolls out of the way. Corbin comes back, drops Elias with the right hand. Corbin rams Elias into the ring. Post. Corbin nails the end of days for the pin to win. Surprise out of nowhere. After the match, Corbin exits the ring and mocks the fans from ringside. We go to replays as Corbin's music hits. We get a backstage promo from Dean Ambrose, who says he will burn Seth Rollins down tonight. And we see Paul Heyman backstage at Brock Lesnar's door. We go to commercial. Back to the break. Out comes Braun Strowman to a big pop. Strowman doesn't speak. He just stands in the ring and waits for a fight as fans pop for him. Heyman appears on the big screen with Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Heyman introduces himself and stalls. Heyman knows Strowman wants a confrontation, but he's not. He's going to get an education because cards have to change. Heyman goes on and says it would benefit Strowman if Lesnar came to the ring to get these hands, but because that would be just another, he would be just another victim and a no Rumble opponent. Braun isn't trying to hear it. He tells him that he will be waiting in the ring. Lesnar finally comes out by himself. Strowman watches from the ring. Lesnar's not holding the title. They stare each other down as Lesnar moves closer to the ring. Lesnar walks around the ring, never enters. Lesnar goes to leave up the ramp, meeting Heyman there and taking his title. Strowman yells out and tells Lesnar to turn around. Lesnar laughs and turns around, and Strowman says he will be crowned the new Universal Champion at the Royal Rumble. Lesnar looks on and Strowman drops the mic. Lesnar smirks and smiles back as Braun's music plays. He just drops it like CM Punk. Pipe bomb. Shelly Cobb, Alexa Bliss debuts her new talk show. Also falls kind of anywhere for the Intercontinental title. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Announces hype. The men's Royal Rumble match. We got mixed tag team match. Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox versus Apollo Crews and Ember Moon. We go to the ring and Jinder Mahal is out with Alicia Fox and the Singh brothers. Jinder takes the mic and says he wants everyone to find tranquility before he destroys Apollo Crews. He tells Fox to lead the way, and as she does her thing, trying to channel their inner peace, she just starts dancing around. Jinder starts pointing out fans in the crowd and saying they're too good to find tranquility. Jinder knocks Orlando and goes on until the music interrupts. Out comes Ember Moon and her partner Apollo Crews is next. Crews and Mahal go at it back and forth until Crews gets the upper hand. Fox and Moon come in. Crews launches himself onto the floor. taking out Junior and the Singh brothers. Moon goes at it with Fox, hits the eclipse with a pin, and gets a win. Apollo Crews and Ember Moon in about a 4 or 5 minute match. After the match, Crews and Moon celebrate. As Ember's music hits, we see Alexa Bliss backstage getting ready for her talk show. Back from the break, Indian announces tonight's Falls Count Anywhere main event. We go to the stage for the premiere of A Moment of Bliss with Alexa Bliss. Bliss has her own set on stage. She insults the people of Orlando and hypes her new talk show segment. Bliss snaps for coffee, and a staffer brings her cup out. She leads us to a video showing the first year that her first guest had. The video shows highlights of Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey's first year in WWE. Bliss introduces her guest, and out comes Ronda Rousey. Rousey takes her seat, and Bliss offers her hand for a shake, but Rousey no-sells it. Bliss asks Rousey to tell us about her first year. Rousey thanks Bliss and the chance for Becky Lynch's startup. Rousey says this year has been extraordinary, but as champion, she wants to look forward, not back. Rousey says she wants to be a champion we can be proud of, and in order to do that, she needs to chase with a vengeance. She gives a major praise to Sasha Banks while taking shots at Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Bliss thought Rousey was setting her up with a praise. We hear Nia Jax gagging on a microphone somewhere. Jax interrupts the show and says it sounds like Rousey has a girl crush on Banks. Jax asks Rousey if she forgot about her. Jax says they have unfinished business. Jax says she wasn't her best at WWE TLC, but that was way back in 2018. Jax says Seth Rollins is getting his rematch tonight, so she thinks she deserves one as well. Jax asks Rousey when she will get the rematch. Music interrupts, and out comes Banks. Banks says she's honored to hear those words from Rousey as she agrees with looking forward. Banks says that she should love to face Rousey for the title. She says it would be her honor to teach Rousey how to lose with dignity and class. Rousey laughs, gets in Jack's face, and reminds her there's a 300-pound Samoan in her face, one who could break her face. Jack tells Banks to get to the back of the line. Banks calls for a bitch and asks what line. Jack says she is the line. As Banks says she will be Jax right now, and the winner will face Rousey. Banks drops the mic and marches to the ring. Jax takes one of the talk show seats and gets comfortable. She says, "Not right now." She is the B word, but Banks waits in the ring. And we started a beat down later on. Back from the break, match is underway as the bell rings. Nia and Sasha go at it with the Rumble shot on the line. According to Michael Cole, they go to the floor and Banks jumps off the steps, but Jax catches her. They end up bringing her back into the ring as Banks unloads for a pin attempt. Banks tries to get the momentum going, but Jax counters. Banks tries for a guillotine in the middle of the ring, but Jax hangs on. Jax powers up with a big vertical suplex. Tamina Snuka looks on from ringside in support of Jax. Jax sends Banks to the corner and drops her. Banks ends up laid out on the floor after getting smashed in the face. Snuka looks to approach Banks at ringside, but Bayley runs up and unloads on her. Snuka sends Bayley into the barrier and takes her down. Jax stops Banks from attacking and works her over. Jax presses Banks high in the air and walks several feet over to a production area case. Pressing Banks on the top of the case, Jax smiles and returns to the ring as the referee counts. Banks makes it back to the ring just before the 10 count. Jax keeps control. It's a sit-down powerbomb for another 2 count. We'll go back to commercial. Back from the break, Jax has Banks up with a torture rack. Banks fights friend goes to mount some momentum. Banks drives Jack's face first. Banks with more offense and knee to the face for a 2 count. Banks goes to the top and hits a meteor up to Jack's for a 2 count. Jack's avoids the bank statement. Jack goes for a face buster, but he can't get it. They tangle and Jackson nails the Samoan drop for a 2 count. Jackson with more offense and big splash in the corner to drop Banks. Jackson goes for a second rope swanton drop, but Banks resists. Jackson keeps her away. Banks comes right back. Comes back fighting again. Banks climbs up for a superplex, but Jax catches her on her shoulders. Jax brings Banks down hard over the top rope with her neck hitting first. Jax laughs as Banks is laid out. Jax wants some time and covers for a 2 count. Jax misses the leg drop and Banks starts to make her comeback. Stuka gets a cheap shot in from ringside, but Bailey comes over and attacks her. Bailey sends Stuka into the barrier. Jax charges the apron from. Jax charges on the apron, but Banks moves. Jax runs into the ring post. They end up on the apron again. Banks tries to bring Jax back to the floor for her Corona, but Banks lands hard face first on the floor. Banks ends up coming back in over the top and applying the bank statement in the middle ring. As Jax taps out and Banks is going to the Rumble. Number 1 contender to Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks. After the match, Banks celebrates and stands tall to a pop as the music plays. Nia isn't happy. Bailey comes in to celebrate with Banks. When she says Rollins and Ambrose backstage preparing for the main event, back to commercial. Falls Count Anywhere match for the Intercontinental title. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Back for the break. Out first comes the Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose. So, you know, when the champion comes out first, he's going to retain. Ambrose is walking down the ramp when Seth Rollins attacks from behind. They fight to the ring, and the match officially starts as the bell hits. Rollins takes control early on. He goes for a pin attempt on the floor. Rollins sends Ambrose into the crowd and follows, beating him through the crowd into the production area. Ambrose tries to escape, throwing chairs in the way. Ambrose goes to his backstage area, and Rollins follows. Rollins sends Ambrose into ladders that are stood up. Rollins stays on top of Ambrose. Ambrose moves out of the way when Rollins tries to push a big structure on him. Ambrose manages to drop Rollins on top of a set of production cases for a 2 count. Ambrose with more weapons on Rollins for a pin attempt in the back. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Rollins is in control. We see how Rollins slammed Ambrose through an announce table during the break. Ambrose and Rollins trade shots in the crowd. Fighting back toward the ring, Rollins launches himself at Ambrose with a clothesline. Rollins covers for a 2 count. In the crowd, Ambrose retreats once again, but Rollins follows. Rollins with a big shot to the nose. Rollins brings the fight back over the barrier at ringside. Ambrose grabs a steel chair and lays Rollins out for a 2 count at ringside. Fans are chanting for tables now. Ambrose peels back the ringside padding to expose the concrete. Ambrose mounts Rollins and unloads with punches, talking trash to his former partner. Ambrose brings Rollins over to the exposed floor, saying this is for old times. Ambrose goes for dirty deeds on the concrete, but Rollins backdrops him on the concrete instead. They bring him back in, and Ambrose drops Rollins with a thumb to the eye. Ambrose goes to the top, but Rollins leaps out to him out of nowhere. Rollins with a superplex and a buckle bomb for a pop for the crowd. Rollins cranks up the band, adds a burn down chance from the crowd. Rollins does the stomp. Rollins goes for the pin, but Bobby Lashley pulls him out of the ring to booze. Lashley scoops Rollins and rams him into the barrier twice. Leo Rush looks on. Lashley with a big overhead throw to Rollins on the floor. Lashley rolls Rollins back in the ring as a Lashley sucks chant starts for the crowd. Lashley with a dominator to Rollins in the middle of the ring. Lashley stalks Rollins as fans boo. Ambrose is still laid out from the stomp. Lashley nails Rollins with a spear as he tries to get back up. The boos continue. Ambrose finally gets up and slowly crosses over to Rollins, makes a pin to retain. After the match, Ambrose grabs his title and rolls out of the ring as the music hits. Rush exposes more of the concrete at ringside. Rush also pulls the table from under the ring, sliding it into the ring to Lashley. Lashley and Rush position the table in the ring as Rollins tries to recover on the mat. Lashley lifts Rollins and drives him through the table. We go to replays from the end of the match. Lashley and Rush stand tall over Rollins as Lashley's music plays. The first Raw 2019 goes off the air with Lashley posing over Rollins. And that concludes my results for Raw and your also now results for your WWE main event. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on the video. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.